That was, of course, the beautiful sound of the multi-talented ukulele player Victoria Vox with a track called You're No Island from a wonderful album, When the Night Unravels. And she's joining us now all the way from the West Coast, sunny California. Hello, Victoria.
Good morning.
Good morning. So we need to know, it's the underlying theme throughout this USA show, what is the weather like?
Well, it is lovely and sunny and gorgeous every day.
Yeah, okay.
Every day.
We really don't need to look out the windows here. It's blowy, it's black, it's raining, and it's probably supposed to be summer any minute, but it's not happening. But it will. But we'd like you to say, we've got you there early in the morning already, and you've got a ukulele in your hand already. Are you disciplined in set times for rehearsals and songwriting, or is it just a case of come see, come sir?
It kind of depends on what I've got going on, but this past year during the pandemic, I've definitely been able to set a better routine for myself as far as waking up early, getting in some exercise, having my coffee, writing in my journal. And right now I'm working on my new album, which hopefully will come out this fall. But it's been a lot of work with Pro Tools, and I've been recording everything here and then doing some songwriting sessions with friends on the East Coast. So there's some pretty early mornings.
As I mentioned, you're an extremely talented musician, singer-songwriter and recording artist, performing and selling albums all over the world, and a skilled operator of your own secret weapon, which we'll talk about in a minute. But let's just go back to, say, Victoria, in the early days when you were learning ukulele. It was probably just books and people dropping in. How do you think that's changed over the years, especially with the internet where everything's right in front of you?
Well, I think it's great that there's so many people playing ukulele now. I think when I first started, it was a bit more challenging as far as dealing with the stigma of the ukulele. And, you know, you kind of show up with a ukulele and most people were like, no thanks. And now it's kind of like a normal, like, oh yeah, she plays ukulele like everybody else. I feel like when I first started playing ukulele, it kind of was a 180 from what I was doing musically from guitar, and that all of a sudden it was this light, happy, bouncy, kind of jazzy tool to write these fun songs. And over the past 16 years, I've been able to kind of settle into a music that I really relate to and feel comfortable with, that I'm delving into serious song subjects and feelings and just also any kind of song. And I feel like the ukulele is just such a versatile instrument to do that.
It's been so long since I picked up the telephone. Words are buried inside, but it's time I should let you know. Life comes and goes so fast, so I'm opening my heart while I have the chance. People always screaming, never listening to a word they say. Missing out on all the feelings that'll take all of these tears away. 'Cause it's all about love. It's what it's all about. All about love.
A little bit of a Lars history lesson, not that I know that much about it, but it dates back to something like 1870 or something. And although Hawaiian in origin, it actually arrived, I believe, by the Portuguese immigrants who called it a matchet. But as we know, ukulele translates in Hawaiian to jumping flea. Am I correct?
Yep, that's what they say.
I mean, here in the UK, just about every village, town and city has a uke club. Hopefully soon we'll all be able to get out and they'll be able to juke their ukes around about. Have you yourself noticed a modern day surge in popularity from a professional point of view?
Yes, definitely. The uke groups have been going on for quite a while. I think even in 2006, when I first kind of entered into the ukulele scene, I'd already been playing for 3 years, but I had no idea that it even existed. And so when I named my first album Victoria Vox and Her Jumping Flea, I thought I was being so clever, but it turns out, yes, ukulele, uku means flea and lele means jumping. So every ukulele club across the US was like, the flea jumpers, the jumping flea circus, the ukuleles and their fleas. Or, I mean, everything was like ukulele, fleas and jumping. So it was just kind of funny to kind of fall into that. But there's so many different clubs that have changed over the years, and people come and go. They break off and start their own clubs doing music that they want to do. And then there's this whole new generation of younger kids coming up that are playing the ukulele, and with social media platforms like YouTube and especially Instagram and TikTok. It's just kind of, I can't even take it all in at times, but there's a lot of young talent, and I always support people who are, doing original music especially, and doing something different and cool with it. But it is also just a great instrument to get together with friends and hang out and sing some songs.
And of course, you've got some incredible samples there, but you don't have to purchase an expensive one. There's adequate models out there to learn on and move up as you go. But what ones have you got there? You've got high-end examples built from exotic tone woods. Which is your favorite, tenor, soprano, or baritone?
Tenor ukulele has become kind of my main, the size that I like to play. I have a couple sopranos, but they're just, they're really small. So the tenor I just kind of feel comfortable with, especially probably coming from the guitar world, even though it's been a while now. But this ukulele is one of my brand new ukuleles, which has a rabbit with a man hand burned into the back, wood of art by Fred Stonehouse. And this is a Maya Moe. I also love to play my tiny tenor, which this is a concert. It's a concert size from the bottom to the top, but yet the scale on the fretboard is for a tenor. So that travels really nicely. And but those are kind of my Maya Moes and the tiny tenor, and that's pretty much my main ukes. But they're all different, myrtle. There's myrtle wood. There's koa. This I believe is myrtle, but then it's burned into the wood, and that's a mahogany, myrtle. There's all
I mean, technology also has certainly opened up a whole new world of creative possibilities for ukulele players. This is an art form you've mastered, and you've been doing for a while, adding reverb, echo effects, looping pedals, both live and in the studio.
Yeah, that I would say probably more so than tuning. That would be a way that I've kind of taken the ukulele to a new place. And I use a loop pedal. I'm actually going to use it today, and I've got a pedal that also drops down the ukulele to like the sound of a bass. So it'll drop it down 2 octaves using some reverb. I've also got it's going to go up an octave as well. And it's just I've kind of started using the loop pedal more as a songwriting tool, and so I could kind of just lay down a riff for a groove and then just put the uke down and then really get into the songwriting aspect of it without concentrating on strumming and playing all the time. So it's been a lot of fun and interesting to use it in the shows too.
Turn into the shines bright with a little love. You will shine. There's so much to see when you start to believe that you're not alone. So don't be sorry, 'cause you've got a colorful heart, and you've gotta let it show. And there will always be a reason to not let anyone know. No.
Now then, as promised, Victoria Vox and her secret weapon. I've mentioned this story before on camera, but I have to say it again. I was in California with a film crew a couple of years ago, and I took them along to one of your concerts. She's good. They all, oh, yeah, very impressed, very impressed. And when someone said, oh, she's added a really cool trumpet on a backing track. I said, no, have another closer look.
Yeah, that would be my mouth trumpet. So I started mouth trumpeting in June 2006. And I was driving from Baltimore to Indianapolis, writing a little jazzy tune on the uke in my early days, and thought like, oh, this needs a little bit of a solo. And didn't want to just stand there strumming the chords. So I took a deep breath and said, no one can hear you. You're in your car. You're by yourself. And it's like, oh, I guess I have a trumpet. And then basically the rest is history. But was on the Jay Leno show and in the Wall Street Journal. And I've definitely worked at it over the years. So it's not something that you can just start doing and expecting brilliance out of the mouth trumpet, but it's fun.
It's amazing. You just gave us one note. Can you give us a few more?
Sure, I'll do a little, or just a... There we go.
Supermoon, I'm waiting on the supermoon to come into view on the horizon.
It's just incredible. I get goosebumps every time. It's so accurate. I mean, the breathing and the sound of the vowels on the trumpet and the vibrato, which is not easy to do anyway. And you're just using your lips to add so much colour and tone.
Yeah, I really kind of, once I got into it, I started listening to a lot of Chet Baker, and I think I just really love the music that he made and that he sang and played the trumpet. And so when I'd be on long drives, I would just put Chet on and sing along and trumpet along. And I think I definitely kind of took a little bit from whether his singing technique or even just his trumpet technique, of that it was kind of a flat note, but then with a little tail of vibrato at the end, and just kind of ended up emulating his trumpet playing.
How long did it take you, to get to this level of, or what originally inspired you?
Yeah, it took me about 3 years to get good enough where people definitely would notice and be like, wow, that's really good. In the beginning, it was kind of, they'd maybe chuckle a little bit like, oh, that's funny. And then it's like, oh, that's kind of funny, but she's pretty good. And then it's like, whoa, where's that coming from? And I've actually done some events. When I used to live in Baltimore, there was an event called Embody, which was all vocalists doing vocal percussion and improv. And so one of the events, there were apparently 5 other mouth trumpet players in Baltimore. And so all 6 of us got on stage improv mouth trumpeting. And everyone has their own technique, and it depends who they listen to. Like some people might be Miles Davis fans, or, that they're just going to have a different tone. So it's just kind of, I think it's kind of who you're influenced by, who you listen to.
This is a song called Mon Coeur Vide, which means my empty heart. Ta tristesse me fait chuter de la lumière à l'obscurité, le sombre, le noir, c'est tout ce que je vois. Ça suffit, mon cœur vide.
I mean, we can also hear you've got a beautiful voice that's always pitch perfect. This must surely help when you sort of playing the uke and the mouth trumpet together compared with singing and playing the uke. I mean, does your voice, you can hear the pitch of what the trumpet should be and that sort of thing? Does that make sense?
Yeah, the mouth trumpet definitely is singing. So obviously if you can sing in tune, you could mouth trumpet in tune. So I think that's probably a challenge that some people have, is if they're not really strong singers, that the mouth trumpeting is just not going to come out the same way. Maybe like a beatboxer, they might do horn sounds, and some of them are really good, but they're not singers they're usually doing beats. And so that's how I kind of got into the beatboxing community in Baltimore. Was one of the beatboxers was, hounding me saying, "How do you do it? How do you do it?"
Si je croise un regard.
We're now well past an unwanted anniversary of a year without music, and I expect you've got your dates coming up in your diary, but you've also been working on your new album. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, this new record I'm really excited about it. The concept of the album started last year, February, at a festival called Love on Holiday at the Holiday Music Motel in Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin, where a bunch of songwriters show up and stay at a hotel in the middle of winter in Wisconsin, and we write songs, and we spin the bottle for songwriting partners, but we also spin the bottle for a random piece of art. And so my first spin, I spun two new writers at the festival, and we spun an art piece by Fred Stonehouse, and he was that year was kind of the big deal artist, that we were really excited to have one of his pieces. He came to the festival the Saturday night where we performed his song Quest for Love, and he just loved it, and he's like, "I would love if you included this on an album, and we should talk." And so we just started talking immediately after the festival. This was right before shutdown, and we just kind of decided, let's just do a whole album together where all of these songs are inspired by your art, or if I had 2 songs were written previous but have been paired with artwork either that he has made or that I've chosen. So it's a really different album. Musically, his artwork is really interesting. A lot of subjects of family and secrets and superstitions and religion, and so it definitely, that influences the subjects in the songs. And so it's a pretty cool listen.
I mean, that's creative songwriting at its best. Can you give us a little snippet of a track that you've been recording there now, live?
Sure. So I kind of showed off this ukulele earlier. So this piece of art by Fred Stonehouse is called Echo of Luck. And so it's the rabbit, but he has a man hand, which normally the rabbit's foot is kind of the lucky charm, but he doesn't have the rabbit's foot. So it's kind of about whether, you know, we really need to have that object to be lucky. And so it's a little song about superstitions, and but it was cool. So it's the title piece for this ukulele. And I've got a little backing track here. All right.
Beautiful, beautiful, love it.
Thank you.
The whole album's like that. That's going to be a winner. That's brilliant. So tell us where we can buy copies when it does come out.
I'm hoping in September, and I'll have pre-orders available on my website before then as well. And yeah, it's the process for writing this album. I've been using a lot of samples, so there might only be ukulele on half the record or so, but the samples have just been a really cool way to explore different sounds, and especially being inspired by these art pieces, it's definitely a different world. So I'm really excited about it.
It's always a delight to talk to you, Victoria. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Let's all look forward to seeing you out there on the live circuit soon, and hopefully over here in the UK.
Oh, I would love that. Can't wait.
You take care, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.